Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt-out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I'm starting with a question. What if you could be 10% more productive, or even 70%, that's a bit extreme, 20% more productive than you are right now? And maybe me asking that question, it has you screaming at the at the broadcast and saying, yes, but I've tried everything. I've done all the tools and techniques. I've got up at 5 a.m. I've tried getting up at 6 a.m. I've tried time scheduling, time blocking, they call it, don't they? I've tried all the different tools like Asana and Trello and endless things. And I would say, me too. So today I have a little story, a little metaphor, I suppose, which I hope will help you to understand why all that trying that you've done hasn't worked. Why you still feel like you're not doing as much as you would like to do. And it's really because all that doing isn't coming from a place of understanding. Like I'm a list person on a bit of paper, if I'm honest. I've tried lots of other things and they just don't work for me. I don't seem to remember to look at them, even though they're pinging up on my phone telling me to do things. I still don't seem to get things done by using those, those apps, I suppose, to get things done. And all those things we're trying to do to get things done, we're mostly doing them from a place of not really understanding this system, the inside, the psycho-spiritual inside of us. What is a thought? What is a feeling? What information is in those two things? What is it, the information in a thought? What is the information in a feeling? All of that. Like what does it all mean? And so the little story that I'm going to share with you today is about a little alien. So the little alien comes down to planet Earth and he's kind of wandering about, and nobody's taking much notice because it's just one of those days where we're expecting an alien, as you do. So he's having quite a peaceful time, but he's noticing that the humans are all moving around inside these metal boxes with wheels. And not that he knows what a wheel is, but anyway, that's what happens on his planet. People don't move around like that at all. So he's really quite mystified by these things and these people, humans, the species of this planet, moving around in their little metal boxes. And he thinks, do you know what? That would be a really cool way to explore this planet. It seems to be faster. It's faster than walking, which is what he was doing. And so I'm going to get myself sorted out with a car. He doesn't know they're called cars, but I'm going to call them cars because if I keep saying little metal boxes, my teeth and tongue will start to fall out with each other. So the alien manages to get his hands on a car. We don't need to know the details of that part of the story because who knows? But anyway, so he's been watching the other. He's been watching the humans. He's been watching what they do when they're in the car, and he's noticed that there's a few things that they do when they're in the car. So the alien, knowing nothing at all about how to make a car work, gets into the car and sits behind the wheel. He's seen that's where you sit behind the wheel. Of course, the alien can't see can't see when he's watching people in cars. He can't see anything really that's going on down there on the floor. He doesn't know anything about the pedals. He doesn't even know they're anything to do with making the car work. So he ignores those completely. But what he has seen is he's seen them with their hands on the wheel. So he puts his hands on the wheel, and he's noticed that some of the humans, when they're driving about, they seem to be singing. So he sits behind the wheel and he starts singing away. You know how people do. You see them in the cars, don't you? They're like so in the moment with the music and no idea everybody. No, probably don't care that everybody is. Good for them. Everybody else is watching them. So he's singing away at the top of his voice, and he sings for quite a long time till he's nearly got a sore throat, and nothing happens. The car doesn't move. So there you go. That's not really. So he's like, oh. I really thought that was going to crack it. I thought that was going to get me moving forward here in the vehicle. And of course it hasn't. So the alien has another little think about what else he's seen the humans doing in the cars. And then he has a good old root around in his nose because he's seen the humans. They do this behind the wheel, don't they? Have you seen them? It's brilliant. So the alien has a really good root around in his nose to see what he can find. And guess what? The car still doesn't start because that's clearly not going to start a car. And then he remembers that he's seen something else that humans do, and he has managed to get hold of a mobile phone. I don't think he really knows how that works either, but he kind of puts his mobile phone here against his head, and he starts trying to make the vehicle move that way with the phone like that. And not many of us are doing that because we've got hands-free. But anyway, maybe it's a bit of a while ago this happened, and that doesn't work either. And so on and so forth. The alien goes on and on and on, trying lots of different things. And the alien even tries turning around and shouting at the back seat because he's seen the female and the male of the species turning around and shouting at the smaller humans in the back seat. That doesn't seem to make the vehicle move. And eventually the poor old alien is absolutely pooped. He's shattered because he's tried everything. He's tried all the things that he thought were going to make this vehicle move, and that it's not working. Now, luckily for the alien has been spotted. He's sitting outside a shop actually, and in the car, and somebody in the shop comes out and says, "Are you all right there?" Now, look, bear with me, poetic license or whatever you call it. The human can communicate with the alien, so there you go. So the alien, the human says, "What are you trying to do here?" And the alien says, I want to move in the vehicle. I want to go forward. I want to go places. I want to meet more of these humans. I want to see more of the human world. And I would like to do it in this metal box. And the friendly person, let's call them a coach, actually. Let's call them a coach. The coach says, well, the thing is, you don't have the manual. You've not read the manual. This is not how. You've misunderstood how cars work. And the kind coach spends some time with the alien, going through the instruction manual of how to drive a car, sitting next to the alien while they make mistakes and get it wrong a little bit. And when they start going back to poking up their nose and no, that doesn't help. That doesn't make the car move forward. You need to turn the key and put your foot on it and tell them about the pedals. They hadn't even seen the pedals were under there. They didn't even know they were part of the system. And so over a little period of time, and I know most of you have learned to drive at some point or learned to do something, over a period of time with the help of the coach, and with the manual, with the truth of how the vehicle works. Not fingers up your nose or singing really loud, none of that, or putting your that doesn't work, does it? And after a period of time, the alien starts to really get it. And obviously the alien has to pass a driving test, because that would be just it. Everybody has to pass even aliens have to pass a driving test. And after a period of time, the alien is utterly free, really, doesn't need the coach next to them all the time. They actually when they decide to go on the motorway for the first time, they check back in with a coach and go, whoa, this is a bit different. How do I navigate this? Does this work in the same way? And there's all sorts of things they have to check in with to start with, but after a period of time, they don't need to do that anymore. And then the alien is free to drive around, to see this new world that it's landed upon, and to explore and to move forward. And really, I said boys and girls then, because I've been telling a story, really boys and girls, really, that's it. That's what's going wrong with us. We don't really have a set of clear instructions that brings us to truth about how we work. And so anything that we're trying to do in life, anything that we're trying to make different about us, anything that we're trying to do differently, to try and feel differently, to try and think, all of that is just not working. And it's just not working because it's all coming from a place of misunderstanding. And what's really interesting is that you might well do exactly the same things once you understand how you work, how this inside system is. But they will work because from a place of understanding that what will have fallen away in terms of what you thought you were and how you thought things worked, there will be space for these tools and techniques to work better. So my little story is with Trello. People kept saying Trello is amazing, use Trello, and I was like, well, I don't want to use Trello. It's awful. I don't want it. And I kept buying people's Trello board examples and all sorts of things to try and make myself use Trello, and it just never worked. And then one day, maybe about 18 months ago, maybe a bit longer, I just started playing with Trello from what I wanted to get out of it. And I've created something that is probably to somebody else looks really complicated, but how I use Trello now I find really, really helpful in terms of productivity, in terms of organization, in terms of getting things done. But it's from a completely different place now that I've found my way into it. And once we understand ourselves better, we find there is space that clears up where we can actually find things that work for us. And there might be things we've tried before, and they'll work completely differently once we have a different perspective on them. I suppose that's what changes our perspective on those things. So I hope you found that little story helpful. I should have said at the beginning, are you sitting comfortably? Then I will begin. Life changes when you understand how something works, whether it's a car or your psycho-spiritual system. It's really, really helpful once you know how it's all put together, how you're all put together inside. And when you understand your thoughts and feelings, trust me, your behaviour just naturally gets better. So sending lots of love and take care today. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.